The internet, what is it good for? One of the best things you can do on the internet is learn, research, find out new information, learn how to use computers, for example. We're going to use the internet quite a bit throughout the class. And I expect you not to come to me first, right, when you have a question, but try to Google it. Try to find that information on your own because every time you do so, you're going to exercise that muscle, right, of independent learning. I can tell you I've learned more on the internet than I have from any single class. So I highly encourage you to use the internet for learning. What is it good for? Well, it's good for more than just education and learning. Of course, we're doing that right now, taking this online course. Of course, you can also use it for communication and connection. So you can talk to friends, family, colleagues, through Zoom, through email, online messaging. You have instant access to all kinds of information, which can be good or bad, but for the most part, I think good. You can learn about history, about politics, about science, right? Anything that your mind can think of is on the internet. And there's some really good publications, some really good creators on the internet that will give you not only useful information, but really entertaining ways to consume that information. So talking about fun things, right? Entertainment and media. You can stream movies, TV shows, play games. You can shop, as we saw in the demo. You can save time shopping using something like Google Shopping, or you can use a coupon extension, right, to even save money while you're shopping. So internet, what is it good for? Pretty much anything you can think of. So some tips when you are researching on the internet, good places to start are Google. Find those articles, those links, those resources. YouTube, if you're a visual learner, right, and you want to see someone do it first, go with YouTube. New on the scene, of course, is AI assistants, ChatGPT. I know a lot of professors might be discouraging you to use ChatGPT. I actually encourage you to use it quite a bit in this class. Now, it shouldn't be a replacement for your own work, right? It should be a tool, an asset. I can tell you, I've been reading up on it, I've been studying the issues, and the research is already out there. The more you rely on ChatGPT to do your work, the less critical thinking you're doing, the less learning you are. So you might come out of a class and get an A or maybe a B, right? Something decent, but you're not learning anything, right? So you're going to leave the school, leave the program, show up to the actual job, and you're going to be ill prepared. So you want to exercise the skills as much as you can. But of course, right, if you're crunched for time, if you need some help, if you don't know where to start, use AI. So the popular ones are ChatGPT. There's also DeepSeek, as you can see here. This is a Chinese AI. This is American AI from OpenAI. You could log in with your Google account or you could stay logged out. You actually don't have to log in. If you do log in, it will save your chats. So there's some benefits with logging in. So here you can look up anything, right? How to make kombucha. Never made it before. Let's see, how do you make it? Oh, there you go. Ingredients, equipment. Of course, I could have gone to Google to do that, right? But the benefit of AI assistance, it's going to scour multiple websites and save you time. So, for example, I want to find the best product, right? Maybe, I don't know, my face broke out, right? And I'm looking for an acne product. So I'm going to say, what is the best acne product for sensitive skin? And for, let's put hyperpigmentation. I have used AI for this. I will literally grab the ingredients from products, throw it in here, and see like, hey, is this the right fit for my skin type? So here it says top ingredients, and then there you go, scouring the internet, finding the best ones, and then I can ask follow-up questions. Oh, I deal with redness. Which ones of these would you rank in terms of redness? I deal with, I don't know, let's say dryness. Which one of these would be, best for super dry skin? So anything you want, AI will help you out. Just keep in mind, just like with anything on the internet, it can get things wrong. There's a few things why there's bad information on the internet. Number one is bias. So, what is bias? Why should we care about it? Well, not everything on the internet is neutral, right? People have prejudice, they have beliefs that they come with, they have incentives, right? Maybe they want to profit, maybe they want to, make their investment board happy, right? Even if you're a news organization, There's somebody who owns it, and you have to make happy by publishing the news in a certain way that's going to make the most money, not necessarily be the most accurate. So this is where bias comes in. So bias refers to a tendency, inclination, or prejudice in favor of, against, or against something, someone, or a group, often in a way that's unfair. The internet doesn't show everything fairly, so that's why you have to question, where does this information come from? Now, if I'm looking for, a recipe, I don't really have to worry too much about bias. But if I'm asking a more difficult question, like, who was the bad guy in the Cold War? There it is. This one's a little bit trickier. It says, wasn't a traditional war with a clear bad guy like World War II. Instead, it was a geopolitical struggle between two superpowers with opposing ideologies. And here's where, you might ask, hey, I don't feel like you're giving me like a proper answer, or maybe it said Soviet Union was a bad guy, or maybe it said the US was a bad guy. Something you can do to verify this information, even from AI, say, what are your sources for this information? And then here's where you can do the research that ChatGPT did for you and double check, hey, does this match up with everything that's saying? So for World War II, that was a bad example. Of course, the Nazis were the bad guys. But for the Cold War, it's a little bit less obvious. So a lot less obvious. So here's where you can click on those links and say, hey, you know, um, what is true, what is not, who published this information, and whatnot. So yeah, highly recommend that when you're doing research, always question the source. We do have a section on technology and society where we'll talk about misinformation, some of the reasons why people put bad information on the internet, why people will lie on the internet. We'll definitely talk about that. Also, keep in mind, although you can learn almost anything on the internet, it's not a replacement for like an actual formal education. So let's go over this slide real quick. So self research cannot replace formal education and training. So people will go on the internet and do all kinds of crazy things. They'll learn how to do surgeries. They'll try to diagnose themselves on the internet. Uh, there's no replacement, right, for the formal education of a doctor, an engineer, a professional who actually went on to gain that hands-on experience, certify themselves. You sometimes do have to go right to the source, to a professional for certain things. You can't just do everything on the internet. So make sure you're conscious of your limits, right, on what is possible through internet research and learning. Some people I've seen, there's like these debate videos online where people are talking politics or talking about, medical debates, and they'll go up to a doctor and they'll say, "Hey, I do my research online, so I know more than you." Again, like that's taking internet research too far. So just keep in mind, while you can learn so much on the internet, it's not a replacement for a formal education. You're not going to be a surgeon by watching YouTube videos. That's insane. So here's a little kind of a humorous example. Don't believe everything you read on the internet just because there's a picture with a quote next to it. Abraham Lincoln. Now, if you read this and didn't catch the joke, it's Abraham Lincoln. Of course, he wasn't around during the internet, so he could have had no quotes about the internet. Just a little joke there. If it went over your head, that's fine. That means these slides are for you. You got to be careful, right, with what you see on the internet. So here's a little activity where you'll actually go on the internet and try to identify what this animal is. You can use any trick you want. You could type in some descriptive words. Maybe you figure out how to do an image search. I'll leave it up to you. Remember, if you want to identify the image, you can also go on Google and say, hey, how can I search up an image on the internet? How can I search up what an image is using the image? Just giving you some hints out there. So yeah, here's an activity. Try it out. Test out your internet research skills now that we've covered some good starting points for how to find things online.